Were we expecting the Chiarellis or anybody to represent? Okay. Alrighty, so the time is 1:01 p.m. We're coming out of recess from this morning's meeting. We've got 5 items to consider today, 2 as Board of Adjustments, as variances, a minor subdivision, a final plat, and a site EDZ site plan. We're going to go ahead and start with the minor subdivision. I would accept a motion to open public hearing for the Jane's rezone RZ 19-0052. Yeah. We can. Hold that motion. Amanda, could you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Richardson?
I am here.
Commissioner Thayer?
Here.
Commissioner Pettit?
Here.
All righty.
I'll make a motion. We open a public hearing for the Jane rezone.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to open public hearing for Jane's rezone 19-0052. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. We're in public hearing. Just for those of you that are here, these all do generally follow the same, kind of the same sequence. The staff will present, will ask the applicant or their representative to present. We may have questions during that period. We'll take public comment and then ask for any response to that, and then make our final determination. So with that, I assume that Christine, you're presenting on behalf of the county for.
Yes, sir. Christina Stanton, CDS Director. And as mentioned, this is the Jane's rezone, case number RZ 19-0052, which is a request to rezone 24.96 acres from Agriculture A to Agriculture 2 A2. And pertinent data for this, Brian and Angel Janes are the landowner. Tom Maroney is the applicant representative. Again, the property is 24.96 acres, located at 29495 County Road 93, Rama. We had a pre-app meeting originally with the Janes on May 30th, 2018. There were some other complications I think they might allude to with their situation that caused some things to be a different order than they normally would. So this will kind of correct some of those. Their formal application was submitted January 27th, 2021. Went through referral from February 2nd through the 23rd. Was at Planning Commission June 15th, and we are here today before the Board of County Commissioners on July 14th. And before you here are the zoning and aerial maps associated with this project. You can see the slither there where the roadway is, and I think they have some access easements in place as well. So this site is the northern lot, as you saw from the last slide, on what was originally approximately 60 acres. It's generally rolling grasslands that are generously treed with mature pines on the eastern half, and the western half slopes steeply down to the west towards a collection of natural runoff areas. There is no floodplain or wetlands identified on this property. Notice for the public hearing was mailed to all property owners within the quarter mile, 1,320 feet of the property boundaries on April 19th, 2021. Sign was posted on the property on May 3rd, 2021, and was published in the newspaper, the Elbert County News, on May 27th, 2021. So here's the affidavits and picture of the sign. You also have this in your packet. This is the screenshot of the rezone exhibit, so you can get a better glimpse of where those property boundaries are. And the application was sent to referral agencies per Elbert County regulations. The county agencies being the Building Department, Health Department, and other agencies such as Division of Water Resources, Elbert County School District C2, Kiowa Fire Protection District, and the Kiowa Conservation District. Some of the comments that received, the Division of Water did originally ask for some additional information, and the applicant's water attorney had submitted a water supply letter, which had been in the packet from May 4th, 2021. I don't have an update. I do think we have updated documents, but I did not see those in my emails when I was doing a quick search. And then the school district had no objection. They just requested the cash in lieu and improvement fees to be due at time of subdivision. Article 3C4 of the Elbert County zoning regulations list review criteria A through F for all rezone requests. And those 6 criteria are as follows. A, whether the proposed rezoning conforms to and is generally consistent with the goals and policies of the Elbert County Comprehensive Plan. B, whether proposed rezoning is compatible with surrounding land uses. C, whether the proposed rezoning would adversely impact the provisions of public services. D, whether the proposed rezoning would adversely impact the environment. E, whether the proposed rezoning would create unreasonable traffic congestion or burden the existing road system without improvements. And F, whether the proposed rezoning will not otherwise be detrimental to the health, safety, or welfare of present or future inhabitants of Elbert County. Staff's evaluation here on this following slide. A, the Elbert County Comprehensive Plan is supported in that this sort of small development offers additional low-density residential lots without eliminating our agricultural usage or the rural character of the area. B, the land use in the surrounding area are agricultural and single-family residential. C, the proposal will not adversely impact the provisions of public services and is approved by the emergency services groups that reviewed. D, the proposal will not adversely impact the environment. It will correct and bring into compliance a lot that was illegally created in August of 2020. E, the proposal will allow for a minor plat that corrects this, again, legally created lot. The rezone corrects the zoning to conform with the minimum lot size in the Elbert County zoning regulations, and the minor plat, which is being reviewed concurrently and will be approved administratively if and when this rezone is approved, will correct the illegal lot and bring it into compliance with the Elbert County subdivision regulations. And the addition of one more lot will not significantly impact the existing road system. The proposed rezoning will not adversely or will not otherwise be detrimental to the health, safety, or welfare of present or future inhabitants of Elbert County. The Health Department and Fire Department districts had no objections to this request. So findings based on Article 3CF of the, 3C4 of the Elbert County zoning regulations, staff finds the following. A, the proposal is in general conformance with the Elbert County Comprehensive Plan. B, the proposal meets the criteria for approval in the Elbert County zoning regulations. C, the Elbert County subdivision regulations are not applicable to the rezone application. D, the proposal is compatible with existing and allowable land uses in the surrounding area. And E, the proposal will not result in significant impact to the health, safety, and welfare of the residents and landowners of the surrounding area. So the recommendation of both staff and the Planning Commission is for approval to the Board of County Commissioners for the rezone of Janes RZ 190052, subject to the following three conditions. And these are standard three. One, the applicant will be required to remove the public hearing signs within 7 days of approval by the Board of County Commissioners. Two, the rezone shall not become effective until all fees are paid, conditions of approval are met, and the rezone exhibit is recorded. And three, recordation of all appropriate documentation to occur within 180 days of Board of County Commissioners' approval. Thank you.
Any questions for staff at this time? Okay, may as well. Okay, if I could ask the applicant or rep.
Thank you, Tom Maroney, P.O. Box 902, Elizabeth. This is a compliance rezone, pretty much. The Janeses did own 60 acres. They did sell 35 acres in the house, knowing that they were going to have to go through a compliance rezone at some time in the future before they could do anything else with it. It was a financial situation that they just had to deal with. So that's why we're here today. Everything else is pretty much straightforward. We had, as far as the water supply is concerned, the state did deem it adequate, but we had to go back to them because there was a well permit had actually been issued prior to us bringing this application forward on that 25 acres. And then when the state looked at it harder after they got their land use application, they saw it was under 35 acres. So we had to do a replacement plan. So we did a replacement plan because they had issued a well permit. They took the well permit back, and now the well permit, we're just waiting for it to go through the state, but it's all been, the replacement plan's done, the supply is adequate, and we're waiting for the permits. It's just taken a long time to get permits back at this point in time. And that's pretty much it.
Questions?
Curiosity question. I live out there, so I know.
Yes, sir.
But the odd shape of the lot, is there a reason for it?
Topography?
Topography?
Yes, sir.
Any questions? Or? Okay. Yeah, it's pretty straightforward. So just on the, I know Christina said she had looked, and do you have any issue with the conditions that were here, or the?
Oh, not at all.
Or the addition that the final, I mean,
No.
water determination's more associated.
If that
Is
you want to put
associated
that in
with
there, I know
subdivision.
I know that it's there, and I can provide it.
Yeah, and I was going to say the water adequacy is a subdivision requirement, not a zoning, so just when the administrative subdivision piece is done.
Yeah, our water attorneys, after the planning commission meeting, they had brought that up, and so our water attorney's been out of town, so I'll have to get that back to him. But I know it's all been applied for.
Yeah, just like I said, just make sure that's complete with the subdivision piece.
Sure.
Any other questions for? No. Okay, with that, I would open this for public comment, if there is any. Seeing none, I'll close public comment. Assuming, Amanda, I didn't ask, did we have anybody that wanted to call in for comment on any other than the one? Okay, thanks. So public comment's closed on this. I would accept a motion to approve the Janes rezone 19-0052 with conditions.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the Janes rezone RZ 190052.
I'll second.
And that was with the conditions as stated?
Oh, yeah, and you accept the conditions of approval? Okay, I'll add that to the motion.
All right, and you have no problem continuing?
No.
Oh, okay. So we have a motion and a second to approve the Janes rezone with the conditions as listed. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. I'd accept a motion to close public hearing on this item.
I'll make a motion. We close public hearing on Janes RZ 19-0052.
Second.
Okay, a motion and a second to close public hearing on the Janes rezone. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. I just, Gentlemen, which item were you here for? If you, yeah, drill tech, okay. Alrighty, so we're still waiting on, alrighty, well. I guess we've got everybody here for the drill tech EDZ site plan. Alrighty, give staff a moment to get that up. While we're doing that, I would accept a motion to open public hearing on, I'm out of order too, on EDZ site plan 21-0023.
I move that we open the hearing on Drill Tech Drilling and Shoring, EDZ Site Plan, EDZS or EDZ 210023.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to open public hearing on EZS 21-0023. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so we're in public hearing. Again, same general process, though this one's a little
Yes, Christina
complex.
Stanton, Director of Community Development Services, and apologize, I'm sure you guys were used to EDZ for part of the application number, and I think we changed that in our permitting program some months back. So the number is EZS 210023, which is what I believe we have on the agenda. But again, this is Drill Tech Drilling and Shoring EDZ site plan. It's a request for an economic development zone, EDZ, site plan for the development of lots 7 and 8 of the Prairie View Industrial Development into a headquarters site for Drill Tech Drilling and Shoring located on property at 8900 Allen Ridge Drive, Kiowa. Landowner Drill Tech Drilling and Shoring acting on behalf of Big Pine Real Estate Investment LLC, applicant Representative Tom Maroney. The two parcels together are about 10 acres. Again, it's 8900 Allen Ridge Drive, Kiowa. We had a pre-app on August 20th, 2020, and the formal application was submitted April 1st, 2021. It went through referral process a ways later. I'm not sure exactly the history there. I think there were some changes and some missing information that got taken care of. Referral process was May 5th through 26th. And we have Board of County Commissioners today, July 14th, 2021. So here you see the zoning and aerial maps for the property. Zoning, I've got zoomed quite a ways out so you can see other land uses in the area and see proximity to town of Elizabeth, I believe, a little bit there. You can see some of the other industrial properties to the north, kind of off to the east. And some other commercial properties further back as well, and industrial also further to the west. And the aerial is zoomed in a little bit so you can see both of the parcels are highlighted there and see the natural drainage way a little bit. Again, this is lot 7 and 8 Prairie View Industrial Development. It's about 10 acres of the 57.51 acre development. There are no mapped floodplains in the project area, and there are no wetlands on the property, but you can see from the map that there are wetlands that are in the vicinity, just not right here near this property. Here's the notice, affidavits, and picture of the sign. So notice was mailed to property owners within 1,320 feet of the property boundaries on April 19th, 2021. The sign was posted on May 3rd, 2021. And notice was posted in the Elbert County News on May 27th, 2021. This is the site plan exhibit, kind of zoomed in so you can see where their proposed buildings are, future buildings, kind of areas that they have outlined on here for outside storage, and the detention pond, which they have moved back to exceed, I believe, that 100-foot setback. So the application was sent to referral agencies per the Elbert County regulations. Listed here are Elbert County and other agencies that were referred the application. And I believe the ones I have highlighted are ones that I'm going to talk about or that actually had some comments here. So you can see, like I said, Elbert County Building Assessors, County Manager, Health Department, Public Works, were all referrals. And CDP, HE, IREA, Division of Water Resources, Parks and Wildlife, the Fire Protection District for Kiowa, Kiowa Conservation District, Black Hills Energy, CDOT, and also Summit Park Metropolitan District were included in the referrals on this. So CDPHE gave us some general comments that seems to be kind of their standard boilerplate information that they send out for any applications. There wasn't anything that I could find that said that they didn't approve or that they had any major concerns. Public Health said the site will require a septic system designed by an engineer. Soil report, design, and application with fee must be provided to ECPH. And I got a response back from Stacy saying that this comment still stands, which I didn't expect that to change. But I just did receive that before this meeting too. IREA stated that the association has existing overhead electrical facilities on the subject property, and they will maintain these existing electrical utility easements. They said that the facility, unless the facility otherwise requested by the applicant to modify them under the association's current extension policies, the proposed grading may not interfere with the existing overhead electrical facilities. The association will require a 15-foot utility easement to the end of the 60-foot access easement and utility easement, and the association will require that all structures and landscaping maintenance adequate clearances to the underground transformer and allow for the association to access for maintenance purposes. The association has strong concerns in regards to a potential screen of the electrical equipment. We ask that the underground transformer and EUSERC cabinet location be provided prior to approval of this application. We did have some additional back and forth email correspondence. There was a little confusion, I think, from IREA. We had to explain that this is not a plat, this is a site plan. So any additional easements that need to be dedicated will have to be done by separate documents, and they have been in discussions with the applicant on that, and that has been in process. Colorado Division of Water Resources requested a detailed report to be provided by the Summit Park Metropolitan District, and that has been supplied, and we have not received any other outstanding comments. Kiowa Fire Protection District listed 7 items for the applicant to be aware of. 4 of those items are listed as conditions of approval. So we'll get to those. Summit Park Metropolitan District provided the response, like I said, to the Division of Water Resources, May 18th, 2021 letter. And additionally, they provided a response to staff's concern for documentation that the 300 years of water standard can be met. They have a rather detailed report in there showing how much water they have and what their usage are. Public Works forwarded comments from CDOT and from the county traffic engineer, Kimley Horn. CDOT stated they are agreeable to a single full movement west of County Road 37 to serve the 8 parcels in this development and eventually the property to the west. This first request will serve only the 2 easternmost parcels. Proposed traffic volumes will not require any highway improvements. The applicant must obtain a new access permit for this site, and this permit will only authorize traffic of the 2 Drill Tech properties. The drainage report will be reviewed by CDOT drainage staff and any comments forwarded. That was the last I had heard from them when I put my presentation and the staff report together. I did do some follow-up, and in between then and now, I did get a confirmation through voicemail that they did not have any concerns with the drainage and that they are okay with it as proposed, which actually is what I have down below here. I kind of forgot that I had that bullet. So yeah, like I said, Friday, July 9th was when I received that voice message. The hydraulics reviewed and completed and accepted, and no further comments. Kimley Horn's comments stated that they believe the development plans for Lot 7 and 8 are in traffic compliance with the original study, and asks that the trip generation calculations be updated for the purposes of traffic assignment and total traffic projections needed to evaluate turn lane warrants. They ask the applicant for some additional information pertaining to how the roadway will connect to State Highway 86 and whether there will be appropriate separation. And I'll let the applicant address that when he goes up here in a little bit. Other evaluation review criteria, Article 3H4 of the Elbert County zoning regulations lists criteria A through H for all site development requests. And those 8 criteria are as follows, and I actually made sure I kept my review with these so we don't split it. A, whether the use is in harmony and compatible with the surrounding area and neighborhood. And part of my evaluation, my analysis on this is that the immediate surrounding area and neighborhood has been approved for commercial industrial development adjacent to State Highway 86, Prairie View Industrial Development, and the 6 Arrow East Commercial Development. Kiowa Industrial Park is located to the northwest across from State Highway 86, and there are a few 35-plus acre properties existing to the south and east. B, whether the use will have an undue burden on available infrastructure subject to mitigation. The requested land use is generally in compliance with the previously approved traffic study for the Prairie View Industrial Development, and the developer and applicant have been and will continue to install any necessary improvements along State Highway 86, including the required improvements for the private drive. C, whether the use will unduly increase traffic congestion or burden the existing road system. The requested land use is generally in compliance with the previously approved traffic study for the Prairie View Industrial Development again, and this is pretty much a repeat of what I had on the previous. I see these two as being the same type of question with regards to the infrastructure and the roads and street. They are going to continue to work on those improvements, and they have been also working with, of course, with the Metro District for the improvements they need to do there. D, whether the use will not cause significant air, odor, water, noise, or light pollution. The proposed use will not cause significant air, odor, water, noise, or light pollution. This facility is to serve as their headquarters for this area and will consist of offices and warehouse storage type uses. E, whether all sanitation requirements will be met. All sanitation requirements will be met. And again, kind of hitting back on Public Health Department's referral comment that the site's going to require a septic system designed by an engineer with soil report, and the design and application fee must be submitted to the Elbert County Public Health Department. F, whether the use will be adequately landscaped, screened, and buffered. The use is proposed to be screened via a 6-foot tall chain link fence covered with fence screen Privacy Plus fencing, and I did include the information on that in the packet as well. G, whether the use will not otherwise be detrimental to the health, safety, or welfare of the present or future inhabitants of Elbert County. Proposal is for, again, the headquarters site with office and warehouse storage use. It's not anticipated to be detrimental to health, safety, or welfare of the present or future inhabitants of Elbert County, considering those types of uses. H, whether supplemental standards are met for the specific use as applicable, and there are no supplemental standards for this specific use. So findings based on Article 3H4 of the Elbert County zoning regulations, staff finds the following. A, the proposal is in general conformance with the Elbert County Comprehensive Plan. B, the proposal meets the criteria for approval in the Elbert County zoning regulations. C, the Elbert County subdivision regulations are not applicable to this application. D, the proposal is compatible with existing allowable land uses in the surrounding area. And E, the proposal will not result in significant impact to the health, safety, and welfare of the residents and landowners of the surrounding area. So recommendations and conditions of approval, we do have a number of conditions here. Staff is recommending that the Board of County Commissioners approve the EDZ site plan for Drill Tech Drilling and Shoring EZS 210023, subject to the following conditions. I have 11 in total. So the first four, our first three are standard. Applicant shall be required to remove the public hearing sign within 7 days of approval by the Board of County Commissioners. 2, the EDZ site plan shall not become effective until all fees are paid, conditions of approval are met, and the exhibit is recorded. 3, recordation of all appropriate documentation to occur within 180 days of Board of County Commissioners' approval. 4, an executed copy of the road maintenance agreement shall be provided to CDS within 180 days of Board of County Commissioners' approval. 5, no sign shall be erected until the appropriate sign permits are obtained in accordance with Article XI of the Elbert County zoning regulations. 6, the applicant shall obtain a new access permit for the site in accordance with the requirements of CDOT. 7, this development shall meet the fire protection code guidelines up to and including being sprinklered. 8, a fire apparatus access road driveway shall be designed and maintained to support the imposed loads of fire apparatus, 56,000 pounds, and shall be surfaced so as to provide all-weather driving capabilities, e.g. Gravel, road base, or recycled asphalt. And the reference there is 2012 IFC section 503.2.3, fire department vehicle access shall be required for each building. 9, a fire alarm system shall be required in the administration offices. 10, impact fees for the Kiowa Fire Protection District are calculated at $1.19 per square foot per building and will be due prior to building permit issuance. And 11, county impact fees are calculated at $2,804 per 1,000 square feet of floor area for industrial/manufacturing and $5,244 per 1,000 square feet floor area for office. I listed both of those there since I don't have the exact breakdown of what square footage is for office and what square footage is storage, and that typically comes at the time of the building permit, so the applicant is aware of those fees. Thank you.
Any questions for staff at this time?
I don't, but I want to hear the applicant, and then we'll see.
All righty. I'd invite the applicant rep to... If you could, just for us and for the audience, tell us a little bit about what the company is. I mean,
I'm sorry?
A little bit about what the company is.
That's what I'm going to do.
Okay.
Tom Maroney, P.O. Box 902, Elizabeth, Colorado. Jacob is here. If you could come up and just introduce yourself. He's the guy in charge of the Western operation. Just tell him your name and your address.
Jacob Perscuda. You want business address?
Whatever you want.
P.O. Box 1929, Parker, Colorado 80134.
And then kind of just go through an overview. I don't know if you guys had a chance to look them up on their website.
Yeah, I did briefly, but just so everybody kind of knows what we're talking about.
It's really, it tells you quite a bit. So why don't you just go through a little bit of what your guys' plans are for the future?
Yeah, so we're a geotechnical subcontractor, general contractor, subcontractor, doing foundation work that consists of retaining walls, deep foundations, shafts, tunnels, grouting. And we've been in the area for about 3 years. We're headquartered in Antioch, California, in the Bay Area. We've been out here for about 3 years, getting work and doing more work all over Colorado and the surrounding states. So we are looking to build an office and a headquarters for equipment storage and housing of our people, and as we grow in this area.
We went through quite a bit going through this, and this EDZ thing has been, it's working. It's been a struggle, but we're all learning as we go. We've submitted an application that, and I think Christine will agree with it, after the first referral, that everything that was asked for, we were able to give them, and including the elevations, everything that they have right there. I think what's unique about this is going to be their Western Regional Headquarters, and they'll have probably up to 20 employees here eventually, and those salaries will run between $50,000 and $150,000. A lot of these employees will be people from around here that they're going to be looking for. So between the real estate tax base and the employment base, I think it's a real good lift for this. As far as the location of it is concerned, it's on Highway 86. They've done and plan on doing, they're spending an awful lot of money on this. There's going to be paved parking, office, a warehouse, some additional other warehouse spaces. As Christina did point out at the plat, when we did the plat for Prairie Business Park or Industrial Park, we were asked to move those retention ponds 100 feet from the south boundary line. And those have been re-engineered. And as you can see, it shows you where they're at right there on the property. As far as IRA is concerned, I can't grant them an easement on a site plan. So I've been talking to Brooke Kaufman at IRA, and we're going back and forth. And he has an email from myself that states we will accommodate with them with any of the easements they need by separate document. So he's working on those documents right now. And so we'll give them those easements, because we can't create an easement on a site plan. We can only create it on a plat. And so this is kind of where we've been going back and forth on a lot of this stuff, because people don't understand that it's not a zoning issue. This is a use by right. We did provide the 300-year supply letter. Summit did. The state was satisfied with all of that. We do have an access permit from CDOT right now. What they want is, it's a little bit over a year old, and you talk to somebody at CDOT, they say one thing, it's fine, don't worry about it. Talk to somebody else, they say, well, we want to issue a new one. We've done all the traffic studies, and this was done at the subdivision, okay? All the counts are done, and then we did a separate traffic study for this, which Kimley Horn said worked with everything there. The road has been, the interior road, all the engineering on everything as far as the subdivision is concerned has been submitted, so that's been engineered. We just haven't pulled a permit for that road yet. We're getting ready to, probably within the next, I'd say 30 days, to start on the turn lanes on the highway. There's XL decel lanes going in on the highway which have been approved. We met with CDOT out there. I've met with them out there 3 or 4 times, and we're just going through, it's a long process in order to do this. You just don't do that, but there's going to be everything that's needed as far as traffic control is concerned when they're doing all that work. And that's about all I have now. I think this is a good opportunity for Elbert County to, and I think it's a very good opportunity for the EDZ for people to see what is coming out here and what we're capable of having as far as economic growth and development. This is really going to be, besides Bartolac down in Simla, this is going to be the first one that's really going to be built up here where people are going to see it. Not that nobody sees Simla, but it's a different location, different locale. We get an awful lot of phone calls from people wanting to know what's going on, and this is, I think, going to set the standard for what's going to happen over there in the future. So, like I said, we've done an awful lot of work on this in order to satisfy everyone. And the interesting thing about this EDZ site plan is that if the site plan gets approved, then we're going to go through exactly the same process, just about, except for there's no BOCC approval, through the building department, everything. So it's going to happen again, okay? It's the way that things are. And this is kind of like stating it's setting our boundaries and what we can and can't do. But then, everything has to be done again through all the permitting, septic, everything. We have not extended the water line yet. We do have a will serve letter, which Christina has from Summit with the 300-year supply. And once we know that we're going to be able to move forward on this, we're going to start working on the water line. To provide water, because it's going to be central water. Kiowa Fire's looked at it. They're happy with everything. We've tried to accommodate everything that the county's asked for. I believe we have. Any questions?
Or want to go for public comment first? Okay. Yeah, I've got a couple of things, but I want to open we'll hear public comment first.
Okay.
And then come back to them. So at this time, I'd open the floor for public comment on this application. Is there anybody that wishes to make public comment? Connie, if you could. Just please give your name and address for the record in 3 minutes.
Connie Perkins, 9006 Highway 86.
Thank you.
Okay, 9006 Highway 86 borders this beautiful development. My question is, that pretty little retention pond up there, I've heard that it's been requested to be pushed back 100-foot setback. Who gets to check on this guy moving the ground, moving the dirt? Who's making him accountable?
Be our Public Works Department and county engineer would be, and as well as,
And when does that happen?
We got your question, and I'll address that, or we will address that when we get to whether we approve it or not. Is there any other questions that you have?
Yeah, the hours of operation, once all of this development goes through, can that be furnished? As I saw in your notes earlier, how it doesn't affect the neighbors, the beeping and the loud noises from the heavy equipment and all that kind of stuff. Are there any kind of ordinances in there with regard to a time frame, like 6 o'clock in the morning till 7 o'clock at night or something like that?
We'll ask the applicant that here in a minute.
Okay.
Do you have any other questions?
Nope, that's it.
do we have any other public comment on this item? Okay. Seeing none, I'll close public comment and invite the applicant back.
Thank you. As far as the redesign of those retention ponds, that was done at the request of the county commissioners that we move them back. They've been redesigned, all the engineering's been set in to Public Works and to the county engineer.
The dirt work hasn't been done yet.
No, sir. But we have moved them back. As far as, now they had started them before, but then we quit doing it because you asked for us to move that back. So nothing else was done. As far as who keeps an eye on what, we have to have grading permits. And it's Public Works, they come out and I believe even the county engineer, and they'll come out and say, you know, this is this, this is this. Not only that, but the state of Colorado is doing inspections on all of these across the state that are being built because I want to make sure they're being built right. They had never done that before. This happened about 6 or 7 months ago when we were going through the reiterate the changes, moving those ponds, and so they said, no, we're going to come out, and the state came out and they said, we want to make sure you're not releasing any water, okay, and we're going to make sure and you're not supposed to hold any water until the pond is done, and so they monitor it as much or more than Public Works or Road and Bridge would. And as far as the hours of operation, Jacob, could you kind of give me an idea of what you guys are thinking?
Yeah, as far as
We do live stream, so there may be some folks
Okay,
that
sorry.
you can't hear unless you're speaking into the mic.
So as far as the office hours of operations would be standard, 7 to 5, 7 to 6. And then for the most part, the shop and yard will operate on the same standard hours of operations. There may be some early morning stuff occasionally, like at 6 a.m. or 6 p.m. But mostly we'll work within, standard 6 to 7.
5-day work week.
5-day work week, yeah.
You do need to understand that they've got, how many different operations do you have in the United States now? 5?
We have about 6 offices around the United States.
6 regional offices. So they're pretty adept at what they're doing when it comes to running this kind of stuff.
One of the comments I have is that the plat notes on the plat, we need to somehow tie those in with the conditions of approval, because it states in here, like, you can't get a building permit until the water system is installed.
That's fine.
Yeah, and then one of the other things I'd like to include as a final condition of approval is that our compliance officer will go out and say, yeah, you've met all these requirements.
I expect that to happen.
Yeah.
So we can, I will definitely add any notes to the site plan that you would like.
No, the inspection is the most important thing.
Right.
We've done that to a couple of other applicants, and it helps the surrounding neighbors feel more confident that
Right,
the...
right. Well, and I expected that to happen,
Well, let's formalize it.
but let's formalize it. So, yeah, no, if you want.
And the re-engineering of the retention ponds, I'm thrilled to hear that. The only one other thing I'd ask you, just as a courtesy to the surrounding landowners, talk to them about the privacy fence and make sure it's not going to offend them or whatever.
I believe Jacob did you try to get a hold of Connie?
Yes, I did.
Did you get a hold of her?
I did not.
I gave Jacob Connie's,
Well,
Christina.
you've had some conversations.
Well, he's tried, but we will continue to do so. I believe that I sent her, I had her phone number, somebody gave it to me. I think I sent that to you. If you could just touch base with her,
Yeah.
okay?
You are both here today, so
Yeah, she's at the back of the room.
Seems-
so-
Yeah,
you could have that conversation.
she's right here, okay?
Okay.
Well, he's,
Okay.
But you're cool with the idea of adding to the conditions of approval that the compliance officer will say, yeah, you done it?
yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I was going to say the one, and I know it's kind of a bifurcated process because we have the overall site plan and now an individual, but the overall site plan note did require, before a lot site development plan was approved, a signed and notarized graphic showing water availability was a requirement, and I think we make that a condition of approval, but.
Well, I believe you
That's
have
one
it.
that- You do have the graphic that shows how the water will be.
You have everything from Summit on the water. Yeah, and the state didn't have any
Okay,
problems with it. I mean, we supplied an additional inch of information after the first referral process.
but and we can make it a condition, and if it's satisfied, that's great, but it specifically asks for a graphic showing how water would be supplied, so.
Okay.
I'm assuming that is, in my mind, that's a graphic or a map that shows a water line from Summit
Okay, yeah.
to
yeah.
that lot,
Sure.
and how that distribution on the lot, on the.
No, that's fine.
And
Like I said, you're going to have more conditions on something like this because of the complexity of it on any EDZ deal
Yeah.
versus a minor development.
You've got a right of way to get the water line across?
Yes. We have an agreement with Mr. Leak.
I'm seeing a nod in the back. Okay. I mean, I know we'll never get to a certificate of occupancy unless there's water
Yeah.
running, so.
If the water line's not there, we can't put anything in.
Just a curiosity question. As far as CDOT is concerned, we're only referring to these 2 lots. Will the remaining 7 lots come through the same access point?
Yeah, this is going to be, yes, sir. So you've got on the plat, you've got Allen Drive, which is adjacent to the highway. We didn't combine these 2 lots. These are 2 separate lots. So, and we meet all the setbacks, okay, required under this type of zoning. And as you can see, we're not fencing in the retention pond, we're fencing around the retention pond, okay? And then You've got, most of it on Lot 8 is just a lot of parking, all-weather surface parking, okay?
I guess I didn't ask my question right. When it comes to the next 7 lots, will you have to get a separate permit from CDOT?
I don't see why we would, because we already have it. We have one from CDOT at this point in time. I mean, I have the CDOT access permit, so that's something that we can get squared away.
Assuming the access point is there, that's through the
Yeah,
public.
they only
works, so
gave us, they
Traffic,
gave us no
updated
choice.
traffic studies.
This is where you're gonna put it,
Yeah.
and this is what you're gonna put in.
So the point is designated, but
Yes,
future
correct.
building may require updates, or will require updates to traffic study, and CDOT may have other requirements generated there. Okay. The other would, just as a condition, you say it's in the works, but that the easement access the easements that are being granted to IREA, that documentation be provided as a condition.
Okay. Like I said, I've talked to Brooks, and he understands that it's not a plat, so. Public hearing is closed.
Yeah, we had closed public comment.
No, I don't have anything. I think you asked some questions I had about some of the notes on the plat and stuff to make sure that those are complied with. And, I would just say, hours and stuff like that, we need to try and make sure it's reasonable for the adjoining landowners.
What would it be that you like, what would you like to see past what has been said today?
Well, I mean, they've said it's going to be, Monday through Friday, make sure we don't, try and not weekends and late at night and things like that.
I just don't know what vehicle that I can put that through. I mean, I can put it on a note on the site plan. The site plan does say maximum number of employees, okay? And then,
but he talked about, it's probably going to be, maybe 7 to 6 or whatever. Just make sure that, that's an understanding for consideration with the adjoining landowners.
Sure. I'd be happy to, say that I don't want to limit it to not being able to have some flexibility.
No, I agree with that, but I mean, we don't want it day after day kind of thing. It's understandable if you have something, every so often or whatever, but, not going beyond what, has been stated.
Right, yeah. And I have a lot of faith in your zoning compliance officer that he'll get a call if something like that starts happening, and then I'll get a call. And then JP will get a call.
But Rick's comment is a good one. And
It is, yes.
yeah, and you could say that if you, and I know the flexibility could be tied to an emergency or a unique situation or something like that. But, I think a 10-hour day is a reasonable.
I think I'll work with Christina on putting a note on the site plan as to, intended hours of operation, that, there will be some flexibility in it, but that pretty much, this is what they do across the country. It's not some fly-by-night outfit that is.
Yeah, I do think probably appropriate a general
Sure.
general hours of operation.
I agree
It's a
with you.
site plan. We hope to see a successful business. If another tenant or another company moves in the future, everything we're talking, that has a different business model that fits
Right.
those structures.
I think this is
we
a really,
don't-
I think
we-
this
we
is a really good start
Yeah.
for, first one on that 86 corridor, to be honest with you.
Christina, tell us how you want to write that inspection condition of approval. Because we're going to have to ask the applicant to agree to it.
I imagine you're talking about the same type of condition we put on Healing Pines, so we've pulled that up and I'm writing it down.
But again, recognizing this is a site plan on an entitled use, it's not a special use. So, but as I'm looking at it, I think maybe a general condition that just the requirements that are in the, Prairie View Industrial Development plat notes must be satisfied.
Yes, sir.
So I think that will take care of any of the extraneous ones, but the one I'm particularly concerned in is just the diagram showing water.
Right.
How the water gets there, and
Right.
that's likely
Yeah, and we'll have,
between you, Prairie View, and Summit.
and that all has to be turned into Public Works as well.
Any other questions or comments?
No, that, my condition of approval is the most important one to me.
No, I think it's totally reasonable, thank you.
And I have the two additional, which would be just incorporation, that the
The plat notes.
for Prairie View be satisfied.
So you just want it to say that those notes will be satisfied, or?
Yeah, I think that's the easiest way to ensure that we are making sure that this site plan is compatible with the requirements that were put on the overall site.
And that'd be part of the compliance inspection also.
And then the second was that the appropriate documentation for transfer of easements, or what the right wording.
Oh, for IREA.
For IREA.
Yes, sir.
Provided before any final signing of the site plan. So with those, do you?
We're good.
Those conditions?
I agree with the conditions.
With that, I would accept a motion on this item.
Mr. Chairman, I move we approve the Drill Tech Drilling and Shoring EDZ Site Plan EZS 210023 and with the conditions of approval.
I agree with that.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the EDZ Site Plan 21-0023 with conditions, I guess, as presented and discussed at this meeting. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Do we need to take a recess to capture all that? Or?
Yeah, just to be able to type that in, because I've still got that up there. I've been kind of taking notes, and I do have that copy of those plat notes in front of me as well.
Okay, let's take a 10-minute recess.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, and that we do as well. Alrighty, the time's now 2. That's how I tell you I'm ready. Okay, the time is now 2:10. We're coming back out of recess. I would accept a motion to close the public hearing on the drill tech.
I'll make a motion, we close the hearing on Drill Tech Drilling and Shoring EDZ Site Plan EZS 21-0023.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to close public hearing on drill tech EZS 21-0023. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye, okay. Ally, if you're ready, I would accept a motion to open public hearing as the Board of Adjustments to, which one are we taking first? Okay, to consider the Shirley Elkhorn Street Major Variance VA 21-0029.
I'll make a motion, we open Shirley Elkhorn Street Major Variance VA 21-0029.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to enter public hearing for the Shirley Elkhorn Major Street Variance. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. We're in public hearing. Again, same general procedure. Staff will present. We'll ask the applicant if they have anything that they wish to add. We'll take public comment, come back anytime through there. We may have questions, and then we'll make a decision. So, Allie, the floor is yours.
Thank you. My name is Allie McGahee, and I'm the planning tech with Elbert County. Today I'll be presenting the Shirley Elkhorn Street Variance, VA 21-0029. This is a request for a major variance to the front setback requirements. The RA1 standard setback being 100 feet in the front from the right-of-way, and the requested setback of 50 feet from the front. The landowner is Eugene Corelli, and he's also the applicant representative. The size of the property is 5.09 acres, and the location's at 2386 Elkhorn Street, Parker, Colorado, approximately 1.4 miles northwest of the intersection of County Road 186 and County Road 17. There is no pre-application meeting held. The formal application was submitted April 26, 2021. The referral process was May 25th to June 15th, 2021, and the meeting with the Board of Adjustments is today, July 14th, 2021. The mailing notice of the public hearing was sent to property owners within 1,320 feet of the property boundaries on June 30th, 2021. The sign was posted on the property along Elkhorn Street on June 30th, 2021. The newspaper notice was published in the Elbert County News on June 24th, 2021. Here are the zoning and aerial maps. The zoning area around the property is RA1. As far as the existing conditions go, the property being considered for variance is located within the Elkhorn Ranch subdivision off Elkhorn Street. The lot is dominated by a slope down to designated open space, which lies within a floodplain. The sharp slope begins approximately 165 feet from the road center line. The flat portion of the lot adjacent to Elkhorn Street is measured at just under 1 acre. There are no current existing structures. The topography is a significant slope with an overall grade change of 20 feet that begins approximately 165 feet from the center line of Elkhorn Street. It has rolling grasslands with a handful of deciduous trees. The majority of the property lies in flood zone A, and the Middle South Platte Cherry Creek watershed is located approximately 195 feet from the front property line. During the development of Elkhorn Ranch, the lot lines were drawn to the center line of the road. As such, the setback must be measured from the road edge of right-of-way instead of the property line. The blue line of 100 feet depicts the current allowable setback, and the red line of 50 feet is the proposed setback. The application was sent to potentially affected referral agency per Elbert County regulations. It was sent to Elbert County Public Health, Assessor's Office, Building Department, Road and Bridge, and the Rattlesnake Fire Protection District, as well as the IREA. We received responses from the Elbert County Building Department with no objection, the Elbert County Assessor's Office with no objection, the Elbert County Road and Bridge with no objection, and the IREA with no objection. Article 3J7 of the Elbert County zoning regulations lists review criteria A through E for all variance requests. The 5 criteria are as follows. A, by reason of exceptional narrowness, shallowness, or shape of a specific piece of property, topographic conditions, or other extraordinary and exceptional situation or condition of the piece of property, the strict application of the regulation would result in peculiar and undue practical difficulties for or peculiar and unnecessary hardship on the owner of the property. Our staff comments regarding A is that the lot in question is constrained by a relatively narrow frontage of approximately 250 feet and a significant topography in the form of floodplain erosion, so it meets this criteria. Point B is the extraordinary and exceptional situation or condition on the property that is stated as the reason for the proposed variance is not self-imposed. Our staff comments state that the lot and its conditions were created at the time of development of Elkhorn Ranch, while building was precluded on the eastern portion of the lot due to natural constraints, limitations on building sitting on the available flat area were further hindered by lot lines drawn to the center line of the road, meaning setbacks must be pulled from the edge of right-of-way. C, the proposed variance complies with the purpose and intent of the standard to be varied and generally observes the spirit of the zoning regulations. The staff comments received were that the intent of the setbacks is to keep privacy and separation between uses and structures. The proposed variance encroaches 50 feet on the required 100-foot front yard setback. Considering that the greatest encroachment is towards the right-of-way, the requested variance does comply with the purpose and intent of the standard that is being requested to be varied. D, the proposed variance will not substantially impair the appropriate use or development of adjacent property. Staff comments received were the proposed variance does not encroach on the neighboring properties, one of which is currently under the same ownership. E, the proposed variance is the minimum variance that will afford relief with the least modification possible of the zoning regulations. Staff comment received is that the proposal is a minimum relief to be able to appropriately site a new structure while working around existing topography. Staff recommends that the Board of Adjustments find that 1, the proposal is in general conformance with the Elbert County Comprehensive Plan. 2, the proposal meets the criteria commonly associated with variance requests. 3, the Elbert County subdivision regulations are not applicable to the application. 4, the proposal is compatible with existing and allowable land uses in the surrounding area. 5, the proposal will not result in significant impact to the health, safety, and welfare of the residents and landowners of the surrounding area. I'd like to make note that there were minor adjustments made to this presentation from the staff report. Board of County Commissioners was corrected to be Board of Adjustments, and the word rezoning was removed from line number 3 before the word application. The recommendation and conditions are of approval in consideration of the criteria set forth in the Elbert County zoning regulations, and as we understand it, that there are no objections from other governing bodies. The recommendation of Community and Development Services is that the Board of Adjustments approve the major variance for Chirelli Elkhorn Street VA 210029 to allow for a 50-foot encroachment toward the right-of-way instead of the standard 100-foot RA1 setback on the property located at 2386 Elkhorn Street, Elizabeth, subject to the following conditions. 1, the applicant will be required to remove the public hearing sign within 7 days of a decision by the Board of Adjustments. Staff recommends the Board of Adjustments approve the major variance for Shirley Elkhorn Street, VA 210029, subject to conditions. Thank you.
Any questions for staff at this time? I'd invite the applicant if you've got anything to add. Afternoon, sir.
How are you?
If I could just get your name and address for the record.
Sure, my name is Eugene Shirelli. I live at 2388 Elkhorn Street in Parks.
Seems pretty straightforward. That
Pretty straightforward.
you don't have to build on the side of a bank.
It is a pretty straightforward deal. I knew it when I bought it and, you know, wasn't really worried about it at the time, but as living there and living on it, next to it, with it, it became really obvious. And in talking to some neighbors, they said, you know, you really probably need to do this. So here we are. I do want to say that Jen in particular, Allie, they've been tremendous. And this is not the first place I've lived. And it's not the first time I've ever had to work with a Board of Adjustment or something like that. They've been outstanding. I just want to acknowledge them.
Okay, I appreciate that. Do you have any issues with the one condition of removing the sign within a
I
week?
can do that pretty easily.
Okay. Just wanted to get that one out of the way.
No.
I have no questions. Do you? No? Okay.
I don't have any questions either. It's the terrain.
So with that, I'd open it for public comment if there's anybody that has comment on this item. Seeing none, I'll close public comment, and I would accept a motion on this item.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the Shirley Elkhorn Street VA 21-0029 variance request.
I'll second.
With the very arduous condition of approval.
Oh, I missed the conditions of approval. Will you accept those?
I do.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, we have motion and a second to approve the variance 21-0029 with the single condition of approval. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you much, sir. I'd accept a motion to close public hearing on this item.
I'll make a motion. We close public hearing on Elkhorn Street major variance VA-21-0029.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to close public hearing on this item. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. I'll give you a moment to reset for next variance. Yep. While you're opening up the file, I'd accept a motion to open public hearing on a variance for Cimarron Trail VA-21-0039.
Mr. Chairman, I move we open the meeting on Cimarron Trail VA-21-0039.
I'll second.
The motion and a second to open public hearing on this item. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Motion carries. We were faster than you.
You were. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us. I'm Jen Click, Land Use Planner for Elbert County, and we're talking about the Cimarron Trail Major Variance, case number VA-21-0039. This is a major variance request to the front setback requirements, the standard RA1 front setback being 100 feet, and the requested front setback of 43 feet and 10 inches. We did notice of public hearing. Mailings went to property owners within 1,320 feet of the property boundaries on June 28th, 2021. The sign was posted adjacent to, Cimarron Trail on June 28th, 2021. And notice was published in the Elbert County News on July 1st, 2021. So we have with us today the landowners, Joanne and Tom Sullivan. They are represented by Wayne Anderson, who couldn't join us but can join us over the phone if necessary. The size of the acreage is 5.04 acres, located at 35053 Cimarron Trail, Elizabeth. They had their pre-application meeting on April 8th, 2021. Full application was submitted on May 11th, 2021. Referral process took place from May 25th to June 15th, 2021, and we meet today on July 14th, 2021, before the Board of Adjustments. So as you can see, we are surrounded by RA1 properties. This is a part of Cimarron Filing 3. We have a 5-acre parcel identified as Lot 10 within Cimarron Filing 3. The existing home is located in the southeast corner of the lot and is immediately surrounded by accessory structures to the west and on-site water treatment to the north. The home is currently 51 feet and 3 inches from the Cimarron Trail right-of-way. There are no mapped floodplains in the project area, but a seasonal riverine wetland runs east-west just north of the residence and bifurcates the lot roughly in half. Rolling grasslands predominate with established tree massing right around the house and driveway, and then to the west on the property line. Looking at the neighboring development in Cimarron Filing 3, we have a number of similar circumstances. Again, this comes from situations created at development. When Cimarron was created many, many moons ago, they did not have setbacks as deep as 100 feet. And so most of these homes, as you can see, standard is often less than 70 feet, less than 100 feet. They now are hamstrung by the fact that our regulations require the 100 feet. So this is their request. As you can see, the home is in the southeast corner of the lot. The existing home at 51 feet 3 inches. The proposed addition, which includes an attached garage, is drawn at 43 feet and 10 inches from the property line. So our application was sent to referral agencies per Elbert County regulations, sent to Elbert County Offices of Public Health, the assessor, building department, and road and bridge. Other departments, include Elizabeth Fire Protection District and IREA. Road and bridge had no objection. Public health had no objection as long as the addition did not encroach on the existing septic system. The assessor's office had no objection. The building department had no objection, but mentioned that if approved, permits will be required prior to construction, and IREA had no objection. We also received multiple emails from surrounding owners. Jennifer Dominguez is located on Appaloosa Trail, which is to the west. In support of the project, Wendy Calpeno, also in support, Tanya Barnes in support, and Mike Norman in support. So we have west, south, and north neighbors all in support. Article 3J7 of the Elbert County zoning regulations lists review criteria A through E for all variance requests. The 5 criteria are as follows. By reason of exceptional narrowness, shallowness, or shape of a specific piece of property, topographic conditions, or other extraordinary and exceptional situation or condition of the piece of property, the strict application of the regulation would result in peculiar and undue practical difficulties for or peculiar and unnecessary hardship on the owner of the property. And I found that the lot in question has a riverine area that would be disturbed if additional construction were done to the north of the existing structures and the animal containment fencing that exists there. B, the extraordinary and exceptional situation or condition on the property that is stated as the reason for the proposed variance is not self-imposed. And as I mentioned, the basis for variance request is the result of the age of both the development and the existing residence. Regulations at that time, in the 1970s, allowed for the building as cited, but if modifications are to be made to the structure, it must meet modern setback requirements. As those cannot be met, a variance is required to allow reasonable use of existing improvements for the planned building addition. C, the proposed variance complies with the purpose and intent of the standard to be varied and generally observes the spirit of the zoning regulations. And as mentioned before, the intent of setbacks is to keep privacy and separation between uses and structures. The proposed variance encroaches 56 feet on the required 100 feet front yard setback. And considering that the greatest encroachment is towards the right-of-way, the requested variance does comply with the purpose and intent of the standard that is being requested to be varied. D, the proposed variance will not substantially impair the appropriate use or development of adjacent property. And almost 100% the adjacent lots are already developed, and this variance would put no new structure closer to these properties. As mentioned before, we have the letters of support from the adjacent owners. And E, the proposed variance is the minimum variance that will afford relief with the least modification possible of the zoning regulations. And we find the proposal is a minimum relief to be able to appropriately site a new structure while working around existing septic structures and existing improvements. So staff recommends that the Board of Adjustments find that the proposal is in general conformance with the Elbert County Comprehensive Plan. The proposal meets the criteria commonly associated with variance requests. The Elbert County subdivision regulations are not applicable to the application. The proposal is compatible with existing and allowable land uses in the surrounding area, and the proposal will not result in significant impact to the health, safety, and welfare of the residents and landowners of the surrounding area. So in consideration of the criteria set forth in Elbert County zoning regulations, and as we understand it, that there are no objections from other governing bodies, the recommendation of Community and Development Services is that the Board of Adjustments approve the major variance for Cimarron Trail, VA 21-0039, to allow for a 43-foot, 10-inch front setback instead of the current standard RA1 requirement of 100 feet on the property located at 35053 Cimarron Trail, Elizabeth, subject to the following conditions. And that single condition is that the applicant will be required to remove the public hearing sign within 7 days of a decision by the Board of Adjustments. Thank you very much.
Any questions for staff? I know you, hello, it's good to, it seems very straightforward, and I know you had an attorney we could call to represent you, but I think that would likely just, architect would, I don't see any questions that anybody would have for the architect on it. But I would invite you to the mic if you, yeah.
I must commend your staff. They're terrific. Jennifer and the other fellow that was on the pre-call with us, was it Kyle or something?
Greg?
Greg. We went through the pre-application process, and of course, we've never done this before, so it was extremely daunting. And she's great to walk you through and tell you what to expect. And then our architect, I don't know if we ever had him present to you before, but he was outstanding to work with. And all the soils tests and the engineers, and he just was, it was great. So I'd recommend him.
Well, that's good to hear. And while you're at the mic, do you have any issue with the one condition that you take down the sign?
Absolutely not.
Okay, so you accept that,
We
and then
gladly
the other that just occurs to me as I was looking, I mean, the 43 10 inches is very specific to the design. Sometimes things change when actual construction happens, and I think we're more than probably willing to just say a 40-foot setback.
40 foot, okay.
So there's a little bit of flexibility if somebody puts on thicker siding or the building inspector's tape measure is short that day.
That's good. Thank you very much. Good idea.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay, thank you.
appreciate you getting down to that, but with that, I would open it to public comment if there is any. And seeing none, I'd accept a motion to allow a 40-foot setback with conditions.
I'll make a motion we approve Cimarron Trail VA-21-0039 with a 40-foot setback.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. I would accept a motion to close public hearing on this item.
Mr. Chairman, I move we close public hearing on Cimarron Trail, VA 210039.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to close public hearing on this item. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. We're out of public hearing.
I'll make a motion, we close the Board of Adjustments.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second to close Board of Adjustments. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. So I know we'll take a few moments to reset, but while we're doing that, I would accept a motion to open public hearing on final plat 18-0075.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we open the hearing on final plat 18-0075.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to open public hearing on final plat 18-0075, Spring Valley Ranch filing number 6. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. We're in public hearing. So,
Okay, Christina Stanton, CDS Director. Again, this is the hearing for Spring Valley Ranch filing number 6, case number FP 18-0075, which is a request for a final plat to subdivide 101.5 acres into 247 single-family residential lots, 11 tracts, and rights-of-way located in Section 33, Township 5 South, Range 64 west of the Prime Meridian in Elbert County.
It should be Township 6 South. We don't have 5 South in Elbert County.
Did I have it right on here and I typoed on there?
on our packet, it is 6.
Okay, and I had gone through and somehow still missed that. Apologize. Landowner ALF Spring Valley Ranch LLC, Fairfield and Woods PC, Jack Ritzel, Esquire applicant representative. Again, this is 101.5 acres, located north and south of Augusta Avenue, planning areas G and H, Elizabeth, Colorado. We had a pre-app meeting back on November 1st, 2018, and the application was submitted July 26th, 2019. This application's been through a lot of back and forth and referrals. As you see, there are 3 referrals up here, first being from July 30th through August 13th, 2019, second one from October 8th through 22nd of 2019, and the third one being April 1st through 15th of 2021. Some of that had to do with changes they had to take care of on their end. Some of it had to do with putting a hold on this until we took care of things with filing 5. And there were a lot of little corrections and things. I think we're there now, though. We had Planning Commission on June 1st, 2021, and this was originally scheduled for the June 30th Board of County Commissioner meeting, but there was a few items that need to be cleared up and have since been taken care of. So it was continued from the June 30th to today, July 14th. And here you see the zoning and aerial map, so you can see where this sits within the rest of the Spring Valley area, which is all zone PUD, and of course the larger agricultural properties surrounding outside of Spring Valley. Then the aerial is zoomed in just a little bit for a little bit more perspective of the lots that are already platted. Existing conditions, the site description, the site is 101.5 acres, again, located on the east side of Spring Valley Ranch Golf Course. And the subdivision contains 2 proposed access points off County Road 1721 from Augusta Avenue. Floodplain, there are no mapped floodplains on this property. There do appear to be some wetlands that, freshwater emergent wetland within this property. And I think we talked about that at the Planning Commission as something for them to just be aware of. They don't seem to be, if I remember correctly, where the lots were actually going, perhaps maybe in some of the open space. Sign was posted on May 17th, 2021. Mailing to property owners within 1,320 feet of the property boundaries occurred May 18th, 2021, and notice was published in the Elbert County News on May 13th, 2021. So I've got a few slides to show the exhibits for the plats here. We had, like I said, numerous corrections over those referral periods, correcting signature blocks and making sure all the tracks were on here and getting it to where it needs to be. So you can kind of see the area here where the actual lots are within the development. And I did not do all of the screenshots because it gets a little hard to follow that with all those different sheets sometimes, especially on a smaller scale. So the application, again, was sent to numerous referrals. This first slide has kind of a summary of referrals at the Elbert County office level. Assessor's office, first and second, and had no response. Building department was referred the first and second time, and they had no response. And clerk and recorder's office, the first and second, with no response. Health department, first and second, no response. County engineer, first and second, had no response. County manager, first and second, no response. Office of Emergency Management, first and second, no response. Sheriff's Office, first and second, no response. Treasurer's, first and second, no response. This gets a little wonky here, I will say, because it says CDS planning, and that's because when this project began, it began with the contracting agency we were doing our planning services with previously, Baseline. So that's why it's noted as CDS planning, first and second and third, comments and red lines kind of throughout all those. Surveying, at that time, they had their own surveyors reviewing the documents, so they had comments from their surveyors in the first referral. Our GIS analyst was referred in the first, second, and third, and we have comments and red lines that have been addressed. And Public Works was referred in the first and second and had some comments and red lines that have also been addressed. Now for the agencies outside of the county, Colorado Parks and Wildlife, first and second, no response. Colorado Department of Natural Resources, first and second, no response. Colorado State Forest Service, first and second, no response. CDOT, first and second, no response. Douglas County Planning, first and second, no response. Kiowa Conservation District, first, no response. Second had comments, and third had no response. Elizabeth Parks and Recreation District, first and second, no response. Comcast, first and second, no response. Colorado Division of Water Resources, first and second, had comments, and the third time they had no response. Rattlesnake Fire Protection District, first time had comments, and in the second referral they had no comments, no response. Elizabeth Consolidated School District, C1, in the first referral they had some comments that I believe are noted or addressed. IREA, first and second and third, had red lines that have all been addressed. CenturyLink, first referral, they had no objections, and the second one they did not respond. And Public Service Company and the first and second referrals had no objections.
Just quickly, and I know there were several rounds of referrals, that the referral requests go out and indicate that if there's no response, then it is assumed no objection, no concerns, right? Yeah.
Correct. And typically, if we have no response, we don't send it back out to them unless there's a major change. But again, like I said, this project began with Baseline, and they kind of went overboard with some of the referral agencies.
Understood.
So some of the comments that were received in the process here, I think this covers mostly the last time or so. Colorado Division of Water Resources needed additional information. They issued opinion in the second referral that the water supply is adequate and the water supply can be provided without causing injury. CDS, we had landscaping signage standards, updated standards referencing filing number 6 were emailed to staff on May 25th, 2021. And that there were still several minor red lines that had to be corrected. I think these have all been addressed now, though. There was a revision for plat note number 3 to be corrected from hereby dedicated to hereby reserved. There was a missing lot label for lot 89 on page 5 and 123 on page 4. Landscaping and monument plan and development lot valuations that were emailed to staff on May 25th, 2021. Draft subdivision improvement agreements, they were originally sent to staff May 28th, 2021, and I believe we are on track there. That's been some recent correspondence that has been to a good point. Case number had to be added to the upper right-hand corner, and signature blocks for the Planning Commission and Fire District. And like I said, these have all been addressed and correct. That's some overlapping text issues throughout some of the referrals, and I think this last little bit that I had left to catch on that has been since corrected with near lot 167 on sheet 8 pertaining to a tract and an easement. Public Works comments. Required review by the Spring Valley Metro District Number 1, and a letter was provided to staff on May 27th, 2021, that the Metro District had reviewed and approved of the utility report, drainage report, and CDs, which are construction drawings, related to Spring Valley Ranch Filing 6. Public Works also asked for additional acknowledgement that the Spring Valley Ranch Metro District would own and maintain the bridges along South Augusta. Additionally, required Metro District ownership and maintenance for bridge and wing wall design. And I believe this has all been discussed as well. And design plans shall meet Elbert County roadway design criteria in reference to section 160 of the Elbert County design standards. And those have been, I believe, revised and resubmitted. IREA, the association will not permit encroachments into the 5-foot side lot utility easements. I think this is mostly just a note for them to be aware. Association has future plans to extend feeders within the development and will require a 15-foot utility easement along the front lots that they showed in the markup they provided in the referrals. And the comments that were received from our GIS analyst, because North Augusta Avenue connects to Augusta Loop on both ends, it was requested to change North Augusta Avenue to Augusta Loop. He also noted that lot 123 was not labeled. The tract K was missing from table on sheet 1. Like I said, this has since been corrected. He requested CAD drawing files, which I believe he has now. Addressing had to be completed, and I'm not sure where they're at in that process, I will state. And then also he said that if Bermuda Dune Trail connects to Colonial Trail, the name should be changed to Colonial Trail. It gets a little difficult sometimes with the curvilinear developments when you're trying to figure out where things connect to make sure the names are consistent. So that's what a lot of his comments had to do with. Final plat criteria in Article 1C of the Elbert County subdivision regulations lists criteria A through E for all subdivision requests. And the 5 criteria are as follows. A, whether the subdivider has provided evidence that provision has been made for a water supply that is sufficient in terms of quantity, dependability, and quality to provide a water supply in accordance with all applicable state laws and local regulations, including these Elbert County subdivision regulations. B, whether the subdivider has provided evidence to establish that if a public sewage disposal system is proposed, provision has been made for such system. If other methods of sewage disposal are proposed, evidence of that system will comply with state and local laws and regulations which are in effect at the time of submission of the preliminary plat or final plat. C, whether the subdivider has provided evidence to show that all areas of the proposed subdivision which may involve soil or topographical conditions presenting hazards or requiring special precautions have been identified by the subdivider and that the proposed uses of these areas are compatible with such conditions. D, whether the application is in compliance with the requirements of 1, the Elbert County subdivision regulations, and 2, the Elbert County zoning regulations. And E, whether the application is generally consistent with the intent, policies, and goals of the Elbert County Comprehensive Plan. So in reviewing those criteria, staff's finding evidence has been provided that there is sufficient water supply in terms of quantity, dependability, and quality to provide a water supply which meets all applicable state laws and local regulations. Again, the state did come back saying that it was sufficient and that it was there would not be any injury to anybody else's water rights. B, proof of adequate available public sewage has been provided. This plat will tie into the existing sewage system for Spring Valley Metro District Number 1, as I understand it. C, any such areas have been identified. That's the places with 20% slope or anything, floodplain, things like that. If any of those are existing within these boundaries, they are identified. D, the application is in compliance with the Elbert County subdivision regulations, zoning regulations, and comprehensive plan. All the proposed lots meet the dimensional standards, and all streets conform to the regulatory requirements for size, cross-section, and improvements needed with all proposed local collector and arterial streets. And E, the proposal is in general conformance with the Elbert County comprehensive plan. Staff has the following evaluation based on the goals and policies outlined in the Elbert County Comprehensive Plan update. The land use goals for residential development that are outlined on page 55 state that Elbert County supports residential development by encouraging a range of lot sizes and residential densities associated with available roads and infrastructure, and by encouraging the designation of open space and the preservation of areas of visual, historic, and natural consequence. So policy TR1 states new development is encouraged to locate proximate to improved arterial roads, or such roads should be provided by the developer. TR2 states the proposed roadway systems should be planned to minimize negative impacts on the environment and to adjacent land uses. And in the residential portion, RD2 states to preserve open space and preserve the rural character of Elbert County. Clustered residential development patterns are encouraged on lands within 1 mile of paved roads and existing utility corridors where they exist, and within the 3-mile service and or area of influence of county towns. Some additional evaluation, the site has 2 proposed access points, again off of County Road 1721 from Augusta Avenue, which fulfills the goal of policy TR1. The proposed access will be constructed to county standards and will provide access to all portions of this phase of development, thus complying with policy TR2 by avoiding multiple access points. Approval of this final plat will allow for the continuation of this development of cluster single-family residential lots on the 101.5 acre, thus complying with policy RD2 and the Elbert County residential development goals. Looking now at some of the water, I'm going to skip the very first there on the residential because that's the exact same thing that was on one of the previous slides, and go straight into the water, sewer, wastewater disposal policy WS1 states the county should encourage all new developments within an established district to receive services provided by the district. And policy underwater conservation WA2 states the county should encourage the extension of centralized water resources to rural subdivisions and other development. Staff evaluation, while technically this is not a new development, it is utilizing services from the existing established district, thus fulfilling the goal of policy WS1. And this development is utilizing the services from the existing established district. Those utilities will be extended and thus comply with the goal of WA2. So findings based on the criteria of Article 1C of the Elbert County subdivision regulations, staff finds the following. A, the proposal is in general conformance with the Elbert County comprehensive plan. And B, the proposal meets the criteria for approval in the Elbert County zoning regulations, including the Spring Valley Ranch PUD. And C, the proposal meets the criteria for approval in the Elbert County subdivision regulations. And D, the proposal is compatible with existing and allowable land uses in the surrounding area. And E, the proposal will not result in significant impact to the health, safety, and welfare of the residents and landowners of the surrounding area. So staff's recommendation and that of the Planning Commission is approval to the Board of County Commissioner for the final plat of Spring Valley Ranch filing number 6, FP 180075, subject to the following conditions, 1 through 3. You'll note 4 is struck through because that was met in between Planning Commission and now. 1 is the applicant will be required to remove the public hearing signs within 7 days of approval by the Board of County Commissioners. 2, the final plat shall not become effective until all fees are paid, conditions of approval are met, and the final plat document is recorded. And 3 is recordation of all appropriate documentation to occur within 180 days of Board of County Commissioners' approval. And again, 4 was a condition that staff had on this application at Planning Commission so that it would not move forward until all outstanding items were addressed. So that is why it's been stricken, because it's been addressed.
Any questions or comments for staff? Okay. I just had one, and it's not really related specifically to the application, but just as a note for the comprehensive plan, I think we have a statement there about proximity to an arterial roads. It's probably collectors, just we don't really have anything arterial other than state and federal highways in this county. So I know what was in people's minds when the Planning Commission adopted it, but that might be something to just keep there the next time they do any updates. And then I guess for the applicant, the one thing that, as you went through all the red lines and things that were open, the only one that I didn't hear was completely addressed, or it didn't sound like was completely addressed, was the bridges and wing walls and ownership and maintenance. So if you could get that, yeah. All right, with that, I'd introduce or invite the applicant to present.
Afternoon, Board. My name is Jack Reitzel, 1801 California Street, Denver, 80202. I'm here as the applicant for the landowner, Alf Spring Valley Ranch, LLC. And it seems like it's been forever to get here. And I think Christina's done a good job of explaining why. But so we started this in 2018. With baseline, and then baseline transitioned away, and there was some inconsistencies there. Then we had to obtain the right of way, the remainder of Augusta, and that was a court action, so that took some time because we couldn't plat this without that second point of access. And it really benefits the entire eastern part of Spring Valley Ranch by getting that second point of access. It was always needed and necessary. We had to wait for the development guide agreement, the third development guide agreement to be resolved, which took some time, as you will recall. And then we kind of like in a runway approach. We had to wait until filings 5 landed and cleared so we could come in. So all of that sort of elongated a process which really reflects a fairly straightforward subdivision. As you know, this has been on the county books, this preliminary plat and zoning for over 20 years. One of the benefits of coming in at the mid-filing is that we know what the rules are, right? We know what the zoning allows, we know what the development guide allows, we know what the preliminary plat allows. And so our task is simply to provide the data and the backup to demonstrate to staff and to you that we are fully in compliance with that master plan and the development guide that you've approved in the past. So filing 6 is 247 lots. They're in 2 planning areas. The area north of Augusta Avenue, it would be our first phase. That is 143 lots. And the lot sizes range anywhere from around 23,000 square feet to about 9,600 square feet. Phase 2 is the area south of Augusta Avenue, and that consists of 104 lots. And those lots range somewhere between 13,000 square feet and 6,600 square feet. This is going to be potentially a different product type to take advantage of the proximity to the golf course. So, still within the requirements of the development guide and the underlying zoning. All tracks, there are 11, I believe, all tracks. I think the staff report said would be owned by Spring Valley Ranch. They're actually going to be conveyed to the Metro District. Mr. Marshall's here and can speak to that if he wants. I think The requirements have been well-versed and well-known. I think Christina did a great job of explaining where we are. We are consistent with the master plan. We are consistent with the subdivision regulations. We are consistent with the zoning regs. As to who maintains what improvements, those are currently being addressed in the subdivision improvement agreement that I'm working with Mr. Greer on, and I think we're very, very close to having that come back before you. So I think that's the proper place for that to be resolved.
I agree. Just while we're on that subject, would you object to an additional condition that the SIA be executed prior to?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I think
prior to recordation?
That would be fine, and I would agree right now to that additional
Thank you.
condition. One of the other things that I think we mentioned that I committed to at the Planning Commission, and I want to make that commitment here, is that there was some concern on the from the existing homeowners in the earlier filings about construction traffic going through the southern part of Augusta Ave. We would limit construction to this new access point once the new access point is built. Right? We can't get there until it's built. But that's going to be built during phase one. I'm happy to answer any specific questions, but I think, as I said, I think Ms. Stanton did a great job, and Mr. Marshall and I are here to answer any questions you might have. Thank you very much.
The only question I have is, I read the plat, it looks like you had a setback for where 174 could be put through at some future time?
We looked at that. Our property doesn't. We don't touch 174, so we didn't reserve anything there. But we had talked about that. I don't know if it was you, but early on, and because of what the difficulties we were having with Development Guide 3, we thought let's reserve it.
Go all the way up to where
That's
174
right.
would be. Okay.
That's right. Thank you. That's good memory. I'd forgotten that.
Concept plan was a
couple years ago. Right.
Anything, Rick? Okay. I just had one. If memory serves, this filing is under separate ownership than...
It's under what?
Separate ownership than...
Yes. Also, during the interim, Alf Spring Valley Ranch has sold the remaining undeveloped tracts to another entity that will take it from here. But this is our last one.
And I think it was one more lot than originally anticipated. So the other entity has no issues with losing one lot out of...
No, it actually became, I think, Track K that would allow an open space access into the rural area.
Thank you.
Thank you. I would ask that if something comes up during the public comment that I'd have an opportunity to respond, but thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, sir. So at this point, I would open up for public comment. Ma'am?
Diana Edstrom, Elbert County Tribune, and I was actually just looking for a little bit of background on Spring Valley Ranch. And I think I heard this is the last filing for Spring Valley Ranch as it exists today. I wasn't quite clear on that.
Okay. If you'd kind of ask the questions, and we have the people in the room
who
can probably answer
sorry.
them. So we'll just roll through them.
Is there any outside road work that's associated with this particular filing and outside of the development? And that's it? Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay.
Between the two of us, we'll try to respond. So no, this is not the last filing. This is the last filing that my client owns, right? Spring Valley Ranch has a number of planning areas. This is the 6th, I think. I think we're anticipating 9 filings or 10. So all of the other filings will be west of 1721. So there's still some time there. There is no large off-site road work required because it's been set in motion by the development guide about when that happens. So that's being taken care of by others.
Appreciate that. And, yeah, Mr. Marshall.
9591 Hidden Hill Place, Lone Tree. There is one track left on the east side of the ranch. It's parcel F up on the hill there. It kind of goes up on a slope, and you can see the dotted line that shows the right-of-way that goes up there. That's 40 one-acre lots, and that will be platted as a separate tract. We're working on filing 7. I think the submittal is going in this week for filing 7. That's going to be planting areas J, K, and L, or sorry, J. And then we're going to plat K and L as a separate plat, and the west side of parcel M, which is where filing 5 is, on the, on the east side. So we'll have 4 more plats.
Okay. And all comprise the 1,786 homes?
Total 1,786 lots. We've got roughly, we've got 139 lots in filing 7. Filing 8 is going to be 130 lots. Filing 9 will be the 40 lots. Filing 10 will be 323 lots.
And then the off-site roadway construction is...
As I think everybody's
supports
painfully aware, the
the
off-site
full-
roads are all being built right now.
Yeah, and support the full build-out.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. Oh, yes.
Thought of. Well, Christine was talking, she made a reference to a potential wetlands issue. We did get a 404 permit from the Corps of Engineers to build a bridge across Augusta, or across Running Creek. So there is a 404 permit for that.
Thank you. There's nobody left in the room, so I will close public comment at this time.
No, I just was worried about 174, but there looks like there's space there.
Okay. All righty, so we have no further questions. Applicant indicated he'd accept an additional condition that the final SIA needs to be approved prior to recordation. So with that, I'd accept a motion.
I'll make a motion, we approve Spring Valley Ranch filing number 6 FP-18-0075, subject to the conditions with the one additional condition as stated.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve final plat 18-0075 with conditions. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. I'd accept a motion to close public hearing on this item.
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay. Motion and a second to close public hearing on this item. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We're out of public hearing. Thank you. So,
I'll make a motion, we're adjourned.
all right.
Second.
Motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you. Thank you.
I know. My hair was this great when it started.